Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's our Ukrainian show on Pod TV. My name is Sasha Star, and today I have a very special guest for us, uh, Ivan Kucherenko from Kiev, Ukraine. Welcome to the show, Ivan. How are you?
Hello, Sasha. Hi, everyone. Thank you. I'm good.
Okay, excellent. You're in Kiev still, and how
Yeah.
the life in Kiev, what people are doing? Are they still walking the streets, doing shopping, going to uh, movies or whatever?
Yeah, actually, the life in Kiev is going on, and people mostly behave like there is no war. They are going shopping, going to the movies, except of some notices about the possible air attacks, missile attacks, and how visitors have to react during the missile attacks, like go into the bomb shelter when the air siren is on, and something like that. A lot of military guys, a lot of soldiers, people in uniform, some wounded soldiers, unfortunately, but in general, the life is going on, and in Kiev now, I think there are even more people than lived in Kiev before the Russian invasion, because a lot of cars with the numbers from eastern or southern parts of Ukraine. A lot of people from occupied territories or from territories which are close to the battlefield moved to Kiev, and you can see people from Kherson region, from Kharkov region, even more people from Donetsk and Luhansk region, like before the invasion, now even more. But
So,
everyone is excited about the upcoming Ukrainian counterattack, and all waiting for it.
excellent. And speaking about Donbass, have you heard about that girl from Donbass?
Yeah.
That's really funny.
She appeared a girl from American Navy.
Yeah, she's
Before.
from American Navy. She was serving near state of Washington, so it's a Pacific Ocean military base. And apparently, she was brought to the United States as a girl at a very young age. So essentially, her English is her almost like a mother tongue, and she had a level 7 the access to all the secret documents and so on. Now, something happened there which I'm not aware, that she was lowered to level 5 and shortly thereafter fired from there. Now, she does not hide her sympathy to Putin, Trump, of course, and all other great the champions of democratic forces around the world. And so that was her, most likely, who interjected in that documents, in the secret documents that was published around the world, the misinformation about losses of Russians and Ukrainians, definitely exaggerating Ukrainian losses and diminishing as much as 5-1 or even 10-1 the Russian losses, and a lot of other disinformation. So, is that all going by a fluke? Because I'm not ready to suggest that she was hired by Russian disinformation forces. It seems to me that these people who are on a Putin-Trump platform, because it's essentially the same platform, no support for Ukraine, and so on and on. It's the same thing. So they are, when something happens, they're almost like jumping in, and that's how they join this platform one way or another, by providing her own efforts through social media, whether it's YouTube or Facebook or so on. And but I think she will soon start talking to certain authorities in the United States, and she will tell us a little bit more about her own stupidity, and if she will get a life sentence or even electric chair, I will not cry for her. What do you think, Ivan?
Actually, I would not take an opportunity that she could be recruited by the Russian intelligence, because here in Ukraine, almost every day, our security service captures those who support Russia, who spy for Russia, like who are trying to gather intelligence about the dislocation of Ukrainian armed forces or Ukrainian anti-aircraft defense. And in most cases appeared that those people were supporting Russia, and they were started to spread some Russian propaganda in social media, like posting some videos from YouTube with the Russian propaganda. And after that, Russian intelligence contacted them, and they see that those people are supporting Russia, supporting Putin invasion to Ukraine, and they recruited them. It was easier for Russian intelligence to recruit those people who actually supports Russia, and so I will not. I think that there is a chance that she probably also could be recruited by the Russian intelligence. Though that guy, 21 years old guy, who actually posted those documents on Discord, I don't think that he was recruited by Russian intelligence. He's just a fool who tried to gather some reputation amongst that gaming community by publishing those documents and telling them that he is very advanced military guy. But about that girl who was fired actually from the American Navy, I think there is a chance that he could be actually recruited by Russian intelligence. So, but I hope that United States services have the possibility and resources to discover the truth about this issue.
Tell me, do you have a video for today to show us?
Yeah. I've got a video, and we can watch it now.
Yeah. Okay.
This is what the sports infrastructure in Kharkiv, Chernihiv, Irpin, and other Ukrainian cities looks like now. Competitions used to take place here. Now, there are only traces of Russian bombs. Ukrainian athletes are heroes representing their country at international competitions. But now, over 3,000 athletes and coaches are defending their homeland from the Russian invaders with weapons in their hands. They were supposed to be in gyms, training themselves and others, getting ready for competitions, preparing for the Olympic Games. But about 100 of them will never enter sports arenas again. They will never stand on the podium. They will never train their children. And right now, Russian athletes, without condemning the war, which their country started, are preparing for the 2024 Summer Olympics. The event promoting anti-war movement, equality of people, and overcoming national contradictions, while their military is torturing Ukrainians for being Ukrainian. Belarusian athletes are also preparing for the Olympics, even though missiles are constantly being launched from the territory of their state and hitting peaceful Ukrainian cities. For Russia and Belarus, sport is not beyond politics. For them, it's just a tool of consciousness manipulation. Sports must be beyond politics, primarily beyond the politics of terror. That's why Russia and Belarus must be beyond sports.
Thank you, Ivan. It goes just beyond my understanding how Russian and Belarusian athletes could participate in the Olympic Games when their competitors from Ukraine are being killed. I just don't understand that. That has to be stopped. That has to be a movement of not just allowing them to participate under a neutral flag or some other things, just not allow them, their coaches, any sport officials from Russia and Belarus, out. Thank you. Out, out, out. Don't even try to come to civilized places. Among them, the Paris is a civilized place, and the Russians have no business to do anything with the Olympic Games, period. That's my opinion, of course.
Actually, it's not about only Olympic Games. It's very strange to see how Russian athletes are coming back to the international competitions in different kind of sports. Some competitions, they were not even banned from, although they return to another competitions, and at the same time, Putin used sports as propaganda. He gathers Russian sportsmen beside him during his shows in Moscow when they celebrated actually the annexation of the Ukrainian territories. The same like Hitler did during the Second World War, and now they actually doing the same. And another thing is that the majority of Russian athletes, they're actually Russian soldiers, because their sport clubs are based on Russian army facilities. They're not kind of sports teams with some independent sports teams. They have military ranks like lieutenants or captains or even majors, and all of them are soldiers actually. So they're representing not only Russia, but they're representing the Russian army and their sports teams of Russian army. And this is
most of them
crazy.
Most of them are in Central Army Club, so-called CSKA, but also there's Dynamo. Dynamo is mostly KGB people there. They also have the titles, and so this is absolutely incredible. All corruption in sports was coming from Soviet Union, and at that time, the East Germany was also a big user of drugs, and a lot of their athletes were unbeatable. Of course, it's at least that all stops with uniting Germany. But Russia became even more notorious than Soviet Union, and they were banned actually and forbidden to perform for many years now under Russian flag after this Olympiad 2014 in Sochi, which is another model of corruption. That Olympiad was in fact the most expensive Olympiad in the history of the world. For example, there was an Olympiad 4 years before that in 2010. It was Olympiad in Vancouver in Canada, and the budget was $10 billion. Russia's Sochi budget was $52 billion. Can you imagine that? How much money was stolen at the time with all those Russian officials or so on? So that's why they love the sport events or so on. And don't forget that the award to Russia, the 2018 soccer championship, was a prime example of corruption between Russia and the soccer FIFA, which is a soccer managing body. And a lot of talk was about it. It was a deal 2018 in Russia and 2022 in Qatar. And both of these things actually happened, and Putin was actively himself was participating in that. So anyway, that's already done and gone. In 2022, Russia did not participate in Kuwait, even in preliminary matches, which is great. And I don't think that they will enter this, the biggest tournament in the world, which is Soccer World Championship. I don't think Russia will enter anytime soon. Ukraine will, and the Ukraine actually was very close to qualify for the final tournament, but I think they lost to Scotland. The one game that they had to win to qualify, and I think they lost right at the very last moment. Okay, that's hopefully they will do better next time. So right now on the front lines, there is a difficult situation in Bakhmut, but Bakhmut is still there. It's fighting, and nothing can prevail. It paralyzes so many Russian brigades and soldiers, and it's just incredible. For so many months, Russians, with all their efforts, now Putin personally, he wants to take over Bakhmut before the end of the month, because there is a big celebration in Russia of May 9th, which is they believe that they won the Second World War on May 9th. All world celebrate on May 8th, but Russia is a special case, has to be different. It has to be May 9th. Okay, that's fine. But how country can celebrate by losing 27 million people? How a country has guts to celebrate an event where it lost 27 million people? That goes beyond my understanding. Ivan, do you have any way to explain it?
Yeah, actually, it's a very strange tradition because the whole civilized world they celebrate the Day of Remembrance, and
Yeah.
the motto of that day is "Never Again." And Russia, Soviet Union before, and then Russia, they celebrated the day of victory, and it was a great holiday. And during last days, the motto of Russia was "We can do it again," and it's just unbelievable what they can do. They can kill so many people. They can destroy the cities, and actually they're doing it in Ukraine. You see how they're destroying Ukrainian cities. In Bakhmut now they are not able to take it by force, and they're using the artillery, heavy artillery, like Pion artillery systems, and they're just destroying it by districts. They
Not
shoot
only that, every single building, and they don't stop until they completely wipe out that building. It's no longer there, and then they also want to get into the basement of the building, so there will be no man left behind. That's what they are doing right now. It's a complete genocide of Ukrainian people, 100%, and I don't think that. You see, right now, it's very easy to enter the war. So you send your army, you start the war, oh, that's great, and then you win, and then you go home. No way. It's not working that way. It's easy to enter the war, but it's extremely difficult to exit the war, because there will be a lot of reckoning. There will be a lot of people responsible, and they will be punished. And then all country will be punished by paying contribution, by getting certain pledges of never ever doing that again. And it's unclear, actually. It all depends. If the Russians would leave Ukraine now, it would be easier for them to handle the situation. But if they want to fight until the real decisive victory for Ukrainian forces, then it will be a very different story. What do you think, Ivan?
Yeah, I agree, and that Ukrainian counterattack was prepared for so long time. A lot of actually forces being prepared for that. As far as I know, Ukraine was able to create several brigades, completely new with all modern Western equipment, and those brigades will go to the counterattack, supported by those brigades which are already on the battlefield. While Russia, they are not able to prepare the new forces. They're just using their mobilization to recover those brigades which are already on the battlefield. They're not able to prepare some additional independent number of forces to make some significant military operations. And,
but Ivan, I want to ask you, are you aware of the fact that the original Russian forces, which started the war more than a year ago, about 180-some thousand people, they're no longer there. They're all been killed, all of them.
Yeah.
So whoever are fighting now, they are being the MOBIKI, the mobilized forces. They don't have experience. They're not properly trained. They even don't have proper ammunition, and even like the dresses. They don't have any proper uniforms, nothing. They don't have anything. So their motivation to fight is very low. Unlike Ukrainians who are fighting for dignity, for their country, for their families, for their wives, children, these people have no motivation to fight. Why are they going to go and die for Putin? That's not motivation. And some of them actually looking forward to end the war as soon as possible and either go back to Russia or give up to Ukrainians and just trying to save their lives. That's really the situation on the front lines. And this is why I believe that the Ukrainian attack will be extremely successful. The most of the equipment is already coming along. There was a video recently published by Canadian Armed Forces. They showed how they sent 8 Leopard 2 tanks, and they showed how they put them in a plane and then they delivered them to Poland. From Poland, they came to Ukraine. So they showed that. So the Germany sent some Leopards, and Spain and England sent their own tanks. They're more heavy tanks. And now the planes situation is that they just don't believe that they need it at this time for this counterattack or Ukrainians. What they believe that Russians have certain system of weapons that the planes could become fairly easy targets, both when they're flying and even when they're on the ground. They could be easily discovered and destroyed. But in the future, 100% the flights would be available or so on. But, they cannot fight by themselves. You need very, very heavy counterattack means to disable the Russian missiles. So this plane will be very safe. But that's going to happen very soon. Other than that, the tanks are coming. The HIMARS are there, and the new artillery shells are coming in incredible quantities. And the most important thing is the training of Ukrainian brigades is second to none. They are all being split in brigades, and brigades are forming the corpus. And this combines all means of the attack against Russians. And it seems to me that Russians, I think they don't want to even think about it, to tell the truth, because I don't think that how they can really fight that powerful force. What do you think, Evan?
Yeah, they're really afraid of upcoming Ukrainian attack, and on Russian propagandistic TV channels, there is some kind of hysteria about the upcoming attack. Their propagandist speakers, they crying about Russia have not to wait for any Ukrainian counterattack or attack, and just to use the nuclear weapons to strike Ukraine, to strike the Ukrainian military bases, or even Kiev, in order to break Ukrainian plans for counterattack. But the problem is that even if Russia will use nuclear weapons and strike Kiev, it will not stop the Ukrainian army from liberating our territories. It will mean that every time when we see another war crimes of Russia and other atrocities, this makes Ukrainian soldiers and Ukrainian people even more angry on Russians, and it fires our desire to fight the Russians, to wipe them out of Ukrainian land, and to bring the complete military defeat of Russia on the battlefield, for the whole world to see at last that Russia doesn't have any second most powerful army in the world, that Russia is weak, and the only thing that Russia is great in is propaganda. They're using propaganda very well, and unfortunately, a lot of people in the world, in the United States, even American politicians, they believe Russian propaganda, or they get Russian money for supporting their regime and their atrocities and their invasion to Ukraine. But this is the dark side of life, actually.
Ivan, one remarkable development just before we end the show, I would like to mention that there are two huge American army brigades are dislocated now in Poland and Romania. There are 2,000 just drivers of Bradleys and the military vehicles and of all kinds, tanks and so on. And they are self-sufficient to fight as an army because they have all types of weapons available to them, including the sea, the military, of course, the planes, the tanks, just almost any imaginable military. So they can start the fight very, very quickly. They don't have to be brought from the United States and trained and so on. They are already there waiting. If something happens, they can start fighting even without order from Pentagon. If they are somehow, they feel that they are under threat or they could be attacked or anything like that, they can start fight right away on their own. And now there is a new doctrine of NATO being formulated, that it's no longer a case that they can tolerate Russians, for example, taking some of their territory, and then they invoke Article 5, and they will fight Russian invaders according to Article. It's no longer the case. No, there is no tolerance whatsoever, even for 1 minute, of Russians occupying even a part of NATO territory. So if there is an attempt of Russia to attack, not to wait for anything, destroy any possible means, get them out of their territory and destroy them. And this is a goal of any army in the world. Number one, to protect their border. Number two, if the border was broken, then you protect the territory that's still left with your country and trying to fight the others. Number three, to destroy as many invaders as possible. You don't need the territory, because if you destroy invaders, the territory will be yours anyway. So why would you worry about the territory? It's going to be yours. It was yours, and it will be yours anyway, as long as you're able to defeat and destroy and kill as many invaders as possible. With that, I'd like to say Slava Ukraini.
Героям слава.
Thank you. And that's the end of our program for today. Bye-bye, everybody.